Today, I find myself with the hankering for a good cigar, so that's why I'm here at EP Carrillo. Amazing place. Oh, I'm not locked out. Well, Cigars Daily Nation, today we're headed back inside the heartland of cigars. In the first video, we went through the world of accessories with Quality Importers, America's largest creator of cigar accessories. Now I want to dive into a cigar maker video. I saw a few quality cigar makers while I was in Miami. However, I didn't get to see all of the great ones out there, just a handful. So I wanted to select some that had some unique and special qualities, and this one was really actually a treat for me to go see, and that was Ernesto Perez Carrillo Cigars, EPC Cigars. So of all the brands out there that are sort of, I don't really know how to qualify EPC cigars because they're not quite boutique, but they're also almost not quite not boutique. And here's why. EPC's only been around for about 15 years, which is a good long time. They seem well established. But there are a lot of shops and consumers still learning about EPC cigars. So they're working their way into legendary. But also the blender for EPC is Ernesto Perez Carrillo. This dude's been blending for 50 years and is widely heralded as one of the true great Hall of Fame blenders of our time. Hell, he used to blend for La Gloria Cubana cigars and made them famous up front, and they're definitely not boutique. They're a heritage legacy brand. You'll find them at almost every cigar shop in America. In this video, I'm going to take you inside the EPC HQ, and we're going to meet Ernesto Perez Carrillo III, Ernie's boy, second generation cigar maker, heir to the legacy of the EPC throne, and look inside of what makes this brand stand out and extra special. One thing I want to just mention up front, Ernie says this a few times in the video. He says he almost sounds like Paris Carrillo line. They have a few lines of cigars, but the one we're going to talk about in this video is called the Perez Carrillo line. It's literally the family's, hyphenated last name. So anyway, just so you guys have all that up front, let's head back over to Miami and dive back into the heartland of cigars. This is where I'm looking for an experience altogether different. And dear God, look who's here at the door to greet me. Ernesto Perez Carrillo III in the house. Not a better person to talk to here about amazing cigars. Dude, I'm looking for something good to smoke.
Let's come in.
All right. Just walking in the front door, something stands out about EPC for me that I don't see everywhere, and that's just a ton of awards. I mean, ridiculous numbers of awards from basically every publication on your guys' cigars, which, how long has EPC been a brand?
So next year's our 15th year.
15 years.
2009.
A lot of other 15-year brands don't have half the accolades that are in just this room right here. Take us through a few of these. This is a whole wall of these over here. These are top 25 cigars. I've been doing this long enough to know that you can't just pay Cigar Aficionado to give you one. And I know people assume that. They assume that you're just paying for it. Yeah. But you can't do that. How do you get all these cigars on the top 25?
Yeah, anybody who knows my father, he's not a big spender, so he's definitely not paying for that. It's, I tell you, it's a lot of hard work. I mean, my father's been doing this for over 50 years.
Yeah.
And I mean, he works every day like it's his last. I mean, with these blends, comes here from Dominican Republic. I mean, he'll come with a suitcase with literally 50 blends, smokes them over and over and over. And even when we think we have a perfect blend, keeps tweaking and tweaking.
Well, I got to tell you, I need a cigar and I want one of these, something that's on this wall.
Pledge Prequel.
Pledge Prequel. All right, let's get to it.
Let's do it.
And you need a badass place to smoke too. And look at this lounge. Bro, most of these guys are smoking on a chair next to some boxes in the back of the factory. Like, this is to the nines.
So this building, my father bought it a long time ago. He actually used to run La Gloria Cubana out of here towards the end.
Wow.
Yeah. My sister's done a phenomenal job building out this lounge.
When you say your sister built out this lounge, it makes immediate sense because it looks so damn good. And a woman did all of this. This was a woman.
It was not me. She did it all.
Truly here, there's an art not to just creating a cigar, but there's an art to creating a cigar that people will come back to again and again and again. We've all had good cigars that you more or less, the experience doesn't really leave that much of an impression. But with EPC, there's definitely this EPC-ness about it that people get, that they get into. So that's what I want to sort of deconstruct with Ernesto right now. So
let's do it.
Light it up.
It has been so good to like see the cigar industry here, but then to come and relax at a really nice place to smoke a really nice cigar. We just lit up a couple of pledges.
Yep.
Which this is like, I don't know, do you guys have like a flagship cigar? Is there like the EPC cigar?
I would say this is probably our flagship cigar. Again, got #1 cigar of the year 2020. Was rated at 98, which at the time was the highest rated #1 ever. It's still the highest rated #1 ever.
Yeah, dude.
Non-Cuban.
Cigar reviewers can be douchebags. As a cigar reviewer, I can tell you that's the truth.
You treat us well, though. We like you.
But to come in with I've never given a 98 rating to anything, and certainly this cigar is stellar and an amazing blend. But how was that for you? Like, what was it like for you guys to see a 98 review, then to see #1? I mean, other than the fact that all your salespeople's phones exploded that day with 50,000 box orders, I assume. What was that like getting that?
No, look, it was very rewarding. Again, the Encore, which I got a #1, I still had got a #2. And this was going to be essentially our third line in the Paris Creole. So it was big shoes to fill.
Yeah.
And we were looking for something that was full bodied, also full flavored, very balanced. It's hard to find a cigar that is strong but at the same time balanced.
Yeah.
And then I would say one of our hallmarks is really the complexity. So we want a cigar that you smoke the first third, the second third, the final third. It's going to change on you.
This is what I talk about with cigar flavor that I like a lot, and I like it with EPC. It's dynamic complexity, right?
Yes.
So the flavors in the cigar are not all one vein, right? A very dark cigar might be coffee and leather, and like these are similar veins to each other, but this has got like depth to it. There's a sweetness to this. I mean, there's really punchy, strong parts of this flavor, but also these really smooth parts of that sweetness and almost like a citrus almost on the
absolutely. I remember my father came with maybe 4 or 5 blends to start. When we started trying them, we have 4 great blends, and we're like, a little bit stronger. So he came back with some more, okay, strong, but not as complex. And, it was a long process. I think we went through probably 6 months of trying, I would say minimum 30 blends. And
30 blends.
And once we smoked the one that ended up being the prequel, we knew right away this was the one. I mean, everybody smoked it, and the funny thing is we didn't have that many of them, so we started like cutting parts of the cigar out, and here, you gotta try this, you gotta try this, and like slobber all over the cigar. But everybody knew right away that was the one. It's not an easy wrapper to get. We didn't have that much of it, so we had to make a decision. Hey, it's a phenomenal blend. But if it does well, we won't be able to produce that much of this blend. Which
is a problem if it becomes cigar of the year. #1 cigar, suddenly everybody and their mom wants to try it. I'm curious, this sounds like a process of agonizing over the blend to get it just right.
Yep.
How was that for you? Like, were you 15 blends in and you're like, I'm ready to just pick
No,
one?
we wanted it to be perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, we wanted it to be perfect. Again, our portfolio is very focused. I mean, our Paris Creole line, you're basically talking about 4 different product lines that are all, quite different. And they make up, essentially 80% of our sales. Mm-hmm. So to put in any Paris Creole, we wanted to make sure it was perfect. So if it took 6 months, if it took a year, 2 years, we wanted to get it right. And in this case, luckily we did.
So here's what I'm curious about for all of you. And I want you to put this down in the comments. What is it about a cigar that brings you back? Because this is the one thing that in the whole cigar world, every cigar maker wants to understand. And again, some of the cigars you have are more or less good. Some of them are so bad that you'll never forget them. And some of them are so great that you remember them forever. And when you see it in a cigar shop, you're like, oh yeah, I remember that, right? And so EPC is one of those brands for a lot of people. The first time you have it, it's like almost like a spiritual experience of like, man, this is really, expert blending, expert craftsmanship. How do you do that?
Look, again, this is a perfect example. We had a great blend. We knew we have enough tobacco to produce X amount consistently year after year after year. I've gone to inspect tobacco with my father, and we'll have the team there, and him in the factory. They'll go bale by bale by bale to make sure the tobacco is what they want. And even knowing, hey, we have all this demand, and somebody just offer you this tobacco, we'll take sometimes 10-15% of what we see.
Wow.
Not the best from a business standpoint of trying to maximize revenue. But again, I mean, it's something where we're very fanatical about the quality, about the consistency of the cigar.
So you agonize about the actual leaf that you get.
Absolutely.
And you're unbelievably picky about that. Then when it comes to the blending, you spare no time on making sure that the blend is nailed down just exactly right.
Exactly.
And for you guys, that's the recipe for creating a cigar. It starts with the tobacco selection and uncompromising, and then a meticulous blend.
Yeah, and I would say equally as important is the cigar makers. I mean, our factory, we have cigar makers that have been with my father for 20, 30 years, even before this company. And they're masters at their craft. I mean, they're masters at their craft. We have them produce very few cigars. I mean, even just a regular production cigar like this Pledge Perico, I think the retail price is $12. Mm-hmm. It's not for the quality what you're getting, it's not an expensive cigar.
Right.
And even still, we'll cap the production at very small numbers, 300, 350 per pair. So I think the combination of those three things is what makes our cigars special.
But what is it about your guys' blending that sets it apart from everybody else? I mean, a lot of companies could blend 30 times to try to come up with the blend and still wouldn't land on what the Pledge is. I mean, this wildly complex, very diverse, really good cigar. Where does that come out of? Is that like pretty much all your dad?
Over 50 years, I mean, I think at this point he has pretty much smoked every tobacco you can smoke. He's blended it every possible way. When he does a blend, it's like, try these 4 different binders, just try all these. So again, that's like a basketball player shooting free throws over and over and over, right? So that's one piece of it. He's our teacher in a sense, right?
Yes.
So now we've got all of us, to some degree, giving our suggestions on the blends, and hey, what if we tweak this or put this binder, do that. A lot of our Paris Carrillo blends, they tend to use similar tobaccos, but in different proportions, and we may use a Viejito of this one, and here may be a Viso or a Seco. So again, but yeah, it definitely starts with him and the knowledge that he's got.
Have you learned enough from your dad that if you needed to go blend a cigar tomorrow, you could go do it?
I think so, but at the same token, even more important is how do we keep these amazing blends that we have consistent, right? So that's 80% of the focus.
That's so different than other industries. You come up with a product, you get your design, you teach a machine to make your product, you put it on Shark Tank, and if somebody at Shark Tank will buy it, then you crap 1 million of them and you hopefully sell them. With cigars, though, you make an incredible point. Maintaining the consistency of this requires constant consecutive effort again and again and again to keep it the way that you intended to make it in the first place, right?
Right, and I think if you go too crazy with too many blends, too many stuff, it's hard to do that.
Lose sight of that. Do you have a sense of this? Because when we keep referencing his dad, we're talking about Ernesto Perez Carrillo, formerly blended for La Gloria Cubana, one of the very few, maybe a handful of people you would consider the great master blenders of our time. And I don't think I'm trying to blow smoke up his skirt or your skirt by saying that. Truly, there's only a handful of people like Benji Menendez and your dad who are like the elite blenders at the highest level. Do you have a sense working with him that I'm learning this skill from the master, or to you is this this is my dad and he's just showing me?
No. He's definitely a master. Definitely a master. He inspires us. We've built a great team in the factory as well. So yeah, no, it's a very incredible situation.
Now, you obviously have winning lines right now. Everything's a winner. There's no duds in the catalog. What's next? The cigar industry's changing a lot in a lot of ways. There's a lot of stuff on the horizon. Some scary stuff, some exciting stuff, really good stuff. So, I mean, how will you guys in the next season of the world of cigars continue to engage people and create cigars that people will keep coming back to and time again? What's your strategy?
Our plan, our hope is to come up with a new Paris Carrillo for the next PCA. We've been working on it. We're very confident in with the blends that we're trying now.
You think it won't be another 2 years before you land on the blend?
No, I don't think so. No, not this one. I think we're very, very close. And there we're doing is focusing again on two things. One is using a very unique wrapper. At least that's the plan. I don't want to give too much details until we have it.
But it's such a thing. You see so many blends out there these days, so many like people trying to be unique, that there's just not a lot of unique leaves to use out there anymore that not a lot of other people are using, unless you've got, you know, the people like your dad behind the thing that really know the catalogs of tobaccos that are out there.
Yeah, no, this is unique, but it's actually a tobacco that, without spilling all the beans, because you know that my grandfather was actually one of the first tobaccos that he worked with. This wrapper, I think actually here in the U.S. was the first one that he worked with. So it starts with the wrapper, and then again it will have a very unique story. And our hope is for PCA hopefully to have introduce it there in March of next year.
Fantastic. So there's a lot to look forward to with EPC, and there's a lot of amazing flavor already there. And I'll ask you to drop that comment again. What keeps you coming back? You can see in this video some of the stuff that makes, you know, good great, which EPC does really, really well. And certainly it has a lot more to do with experience, wisdom, and knowledge, which you get with your dad, but then also the support that you and your sister and your family have given to this brand to give it a whole other generation. So I can't thank you enough for hanging out with me today, brother.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys again. Drop your comment down below, and of course, check this video out on the community on Cigars Daily Plus. This is Tim and Ernesto signing off for Cigars Daily, and I will see you in the comments.
Thank you, guys.